Hey, good evening or afternoon. I don't know how you want to take this at 7 o'clock, but it feels like it's the
I
afternoon
always
still
call it
to me.
evening. I always call it evening.
Yeah. This is Has Spurs TV, and today I've got again Lee from Total Spurs TV. Lee, how you doing? Did you
Yes,
watch
good
yesterday's
mate.
game?
Good to be on again. And yes, I'm buzzing after that game yesterday. So yeah, good start from us.
So when the first goal went in, what were you feeling? Were you thinking like it was going to be another
Yeah,
Tottenham-esque
yes.
thing, or
I was just thinking it's stock Tottenham, isn't it? It's what we've grown to know. Go a goal down, especially with that defending. But yeah, my fears were that we were going to just revert back. I didn't have
so
any faith, to be honest.
you didn't have any faith, really?
Not to start off with. When I saw the first 20 minutes, no.
No, but like,
No.
why did you feel like that way? Because I personally, for me, I actually was quite confident even when we went a goal down. But
Yeah, I
why
mean,
did you feel that way?
to say, I mean, all right. I mean, it's a little bit unfair to say I had no faith. I did, but it was just like we've been here before, and it was, well, it's going to go two ways, which is to continue to perform, or allow them silly things to happen, or we're actually going to do something about it, and we've done something about it, and that's the good thing. We actually turned it around. So that's, I don't know. It was literally when we got out of that 20-minute spell, I kind of thought, okay, we're managing the game. Our shape was good. We're pushing forward. We're going forward. We're doing things. So that's when I started going, hang on a minute, this is different, you know?
So I only bring this up because obviously we have Conte now, so it's not like we
Mm.
have someone like Nuno who we started last season with. And I went into that first game with a completely different mindset, and how I went to say this season's
Right.
first game, where with Nuno I was very worried, especially we were playing City, of course, right? But I wasn't confident that we were going to win that game, and we did. But with Southampton, like, do you have a different feeling when you watch us under Conte compared to under other managers?
Yeah, I think people have to. Yes, we still have majority of the same players, but what people don't realise is they have improved massively. Conte's got them going. There's some players I don't want there, like most fans don't want there, but we seem to be doing bits at the moment that that's working, and Conte's got them playing. So yeah.
So, in terms of like you said, like you thought we would revert to type. Is it because you like feared Southampton? Like, was there anyone apart from obviously Prowse who scored? Were there were there any players or anything that made you fear them more than say me, for
Yeah. No,
example?
I wouldn't say it wasn't. It wasn't necessarily a fear. It was just the fact that we know Ward Prowse, and my score prediction was 3-1
All right, okay, quite
beforehand,
close.
and it was
Yeah.
Prowse. It was a set piece. All right, he didn't score from a set piece, but I got the goal score right for Southampton. But I knew we was going to go down. I knew we would go down. I knew we would go behind. But in my mind, as much as I thought Conte, he's got on playing, are we going to be able to sort of respond, and are we going to be able to sort of make a statement after that? And we did, and that's So no, I didn't fear Southampton. It was just I had to take it from a point of view like we have to be careful and not take it for granted. And I
I
think
see what you're
some
saying.
fans, some
Yeah.
fans were like, that was like a piece of piss. We're gonna smash him. All right, yeah, we did end up smashing him in the end, but going by the first 20 minutes, you wouldn't have thought. You know what I mean? It was kind of a bit. So
I think I find first games are always a bit funny, like
mm,
as in they can go either way, and they're a bit. I don't know what the word is. As in anything can really happen
yeah,
because both teams are quite rusty, especially in the first like say
yeah,
5 games, but especially the first game. And for me, like I was never not confident we were going to win. I just didn't think it would be as smooth.
no,
Like winning 4-1, I thought it would be 3-2. I don't remember.
yeah.
But I want to talk about our fullbacks or wingbacks. Sorry. So what do you think of Sessegnon and what do you think of Emerson? Just hit me with what you say.
To be fair, Sessegnon had a good game. I can't. There's a few errors, but overall, I thought he had a really good game. I can't. He's done what he should be doing. And, despite what I think or people think he shouldn't be, and he's not a footballer. He's not a good player. He done a good job, and he done what he was supposed to do. All right, not as many crosses in the box as what he was meant to do, but I'm talking about the space, running into it, taking the ball on, moving forward. And yesterday, most of the time, he didn't look like a deer in the headlights, like I said before.
Yeah, I remember.
And Emerson, to be fair, with the engine on him, that's what I praise him, is the engine. He's got a massive engine on him, and he can run and run, just keep running. and that's his strong point. If he has got any stronger, but that is his strongest point for me. But I thought
Yeah.
Emerson done okay. I thought we done well. He got up the pitch. It was pretty tidy on the ball. I didn't think he was overly brilliant, but he done a good job. I thought. I can't fault him really for doing that for us. But
Yeah. So you spoke about Sessegnon, about how you saw some sort of improvement.
mm,
Yeah. Right. So with me, I think I'm still not convinced he's like
no,
the one.
he's
But
not the one. No, no.
but I did see, to be fair, I did see a slight difference in terms of like his runs. I felt like he was making more runs into the box and runs
Yeah.
into more dangerous areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Compared to before. But the one thing, and I'm always going to bring this up until it happens, but he still can't take on a player. Because I
No.
told you where I sit, he's like right below me when we attack that side.
Yeah.
And I remember there was about 3 or 4 instances when he controlled the ball and he just went backwards. And I'm like, but there's a player right there, you can go past him. You're faster than him.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, he was hesitant. I mean, I said earlier, deer in the headlights. I suppose that's a deer in the headlight moment, but
it's like a consistent thing. Like,
it's a
do you think
consistency
he
thing.
can
Yeah.
get over it? And do you think there's something holding him back? I'm trying to get my head around this.
I
Well, he
think
can't take on a
personally, his
player.
injuries. I think his injuries are holding him back. Personally, I don't think he's the player for us. I don't. Me personally.
All right.
Again, we're using him because we're using him, and we've got him, and Conte likes him, so that's why he's obviously being used. Or we've told Conte likes him. But I don't know. We've had him 3 years, 4 years now.
Since he was a Poch. Well, I don't know if it was a Poch
From
signing,
Fulham,
but he was
wasn't
signed
it?
in 2019, I think.
From Fulham.
Yeah.
And has he really pushed on since then? People could say, well, the manager's not given him time, give him an opportunity. But the opportunities he has had, and has been given, he's not really taken them, So I don't know. Cess is not for me. Cess isn't for me.
I mean, you won't find me disagreeing with that. I know he's probably going to go, but I still kind of prefer Reguilon, to be honest. And
do you? Yeah.
I still think, I mean, I don't know if Spurs have this level of ambition to do something like this because the transfers have already finished, so it's not going to happen. But obviously Cucurella was on his way out.
Yeah.
To City, and then he ended up at Chelsea, whatever. But if we were going to do something like quite big, and it was a very easy improvement for me, I would have sold Cess happily, told him to go wherever, Reguilon, and gone and bought Cucurella. I mean, it's just a simple upgrade right there. So
absolutely, the options were. This is the thing. The options were, as fans, we see the options are there. Why didn't he do this? Why didn't Conte, want him or whatever? We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And we've got, I suppose, go with what Conte. I mean, he knows better than all of us, doesn't he? He's around the players every day. He knows what he needs in his team and how he wants to play. We've got an inkling of how he plays from watching him, obviously. But he knows in depth what he wants, and he seems to be right in there with Cess at the moment. He loves Cess. He thinks he can be a world-class player.
Like I think he's only 24, right? Is he 24?
What, Cess?
Is he 23, 24?
I don't think he's 24. I thought he was 22. No. I could be wrong. I thought it was.
I think you're right. He's 22 because we signed him at 19.
19. That's right.
Yeah. So there is like room there for improvement. It's just how long is it going to take? How long is Conte going to be here anyway? If you were being honest, Conte might go in a couple of years. For all we know.
Well, yeah.
I don't know what his plans are, but
that's all down to Levy, isn't it? That's all down to Levy and what And
but like for me with Cess, when we signed him, and I think, like I said this on every stream, I was almost like promised he'll be like Danny Rose. We're talking peak Danny Rose, obviously, right?
Right.
And then when we signed him, I felt like I didn't get the player I was promised from other people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm actually quite good friends with a Fulham fan who's probably going to come on here while we're playing them in September. So he'll enlighten us more on probably assessing on back in Fulham days. But even then, I spoke to him, I think, like a few weeks ago, a week or two ago now. And he was like, no, even at Fulham, he wasn't even that impressed with him. I think he played left wing. Yeah. And he said he had one good season. And then when they went to the Premier League, he wasn't that great. So
same sort of thing with Spence then. So he's had one good season with
kiss of death with Spence.
Beautiful.
So as for Emerson, like, do you see him staying now?
I think he will. I mean, I think Alistair Gold was going on about. I watched his video earlier, saying that he's Sorry, the previous video he done, not the recent one, but saying that he loves Emerson and he uses him because, like I say, because of his engine. I don't know. I can see him staying, even though he did say if the right offer comes in,
as usual. Yeah,
he might go. But
yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know. You don't know. Just I want him to go. I want a better, wing back than him. That's for sure.
To me, to Emerson's credit, I thought yesterday he was probably our third best player, for me at least.
He had a good game.
Yeah, you can't fault him. He's
No.
actually played really well.
That's what I mean. It's not, you have to give him credit for the game. I'm not giving him credit as a footballer.
Yeah.
It's credit for the game. He had a good game. He played well. There was some instances he didn't play well, but overall, he done a job and he done the job we needed.
I think, like, for me, the difference, for example, like mostly my pet hate, I guess it's pet hate, but with Sessegnon is that he can't take on players. At least with Emerson, I noticed yesterday, like, he can do that. But then Emerson's issue is his delivery, which is
yeah. Well, Emerson's funny because Emerson will, like you say, try and take on a player after his 1,001 stepovers, right? So after he does all that little business, because he thinks he's a proper Brazilian, doesn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Right? Was that
decent bicycle kick as well? Yeah, decent bicycle kick.
Oh yeah, I know. He'll have that in a compilation. Like,
I'm still waiting for that to drop. Actually,
I know. I thought he was going to do last night, but now we'll get that in the week. We'll get that early, like tomorrow or Tuesday, probably. I can't wait for that. That's a highlight. That is watching his comp. But no, he done a job. Like I say, I mean, it doesn't change my mind about him as a footballer. I still want him gone, but he done well. He had a good game. Like Cess had a good game. Apart from that, I won't go any further than that. Yeah.
I think I saw him on an earlier one as well.
Hey, I didn't expect anything different, Scott.
No, we need to find Cody to come on. So Cody has an Emerson shirt. I don't think Cody Mack is.
Oh, he what on the back? He has a name on his back. Does it?
Basically, he made a bet. I don't know if you've seen this tweet.
Oh right.
Saying that if Emerson scored in this game, he'd get an Emerson shirt.
Oh God.
I think Scott.
Why waste the money?
And then Emerson scored. He went and bought an Emerson shirt. Anyway, Emerson's still here now. So.
Oh my God! Was that the game where he flicked it off the post? Like he went to kick it and he fell. Is that the goal?
Maybe it was quite late in the season. I can't remember which game it was.
Oh yeah, but that's the only goal I remember him scoring.
Yeah, all right, it must be that one then.
It's got to be. Yeah, one or two. Him physically scoring off the post. That was the only goal he's done.
Hey,
how's it going? All right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like with Emerson and Sessegnon, obviously they're both not our favourite wing backs. It's not like I would choose them. I'd probably go Perisic and someone better. I'd even go I think Doherty. Those two.
Well, that's what I wanted him in there.
But taking into consideration, we probably won't sign Hakimi tomorrow, or Cucurella's gone now, and there's not say as many options. Do you think? I mean, partly because the club are investing in Sessegnon and Emerson, but do you think Conte is invested in Emerson and Sessegnon now?
I think
in terms of like his, obviously he has the older ones in Doherty and Perisic, and I imagine Perisic is going to teach Sessegnon. I'll go on to Perisic a bit later, but do you think even Conte, because he started with both of them, which I was quite say against Emerson, for example, right? But do you think he sees them now as his wing backs?
I hope
not obviously starting every game, but
no. I think he's got no choice but to see him as that because there is nothing else apart from Perisic and Spence. But Spence ain't nowhere near ready anyway.
No.
Perisic is coming back from an injury, so he's going to get sporadic minutes, isn't he? He's not going to be playing all the time. For at least 3 or 4 games into the season, at least. And I just don't think he's got no choice. Again, he's just making do with what he's got, and I think he can't come out to the press and say, "Well, no, they're shit." As much as we'd like that honesty, I'm sure he doesn't. I don't know if I'm sure he doesn't rate him or not. He must do because he keeps bloody picking him. If he didn't like him that much, he'd put one of the youngsters, or he'd just gamble with Spence and just whack him on. But I don't know. It baffles me.
I think Spence is probably number 3 in the pecking order, or maybe number 5 if we're going to use all the fullbacks, say, as an example. He's probably number 5. But also, what I noticed compared to Emerson, say, this season, I know it's been 1 game, and last season, obviously we know Conte's a fan of Cess. And I just remember that incident that happened with Emerson last season when he was like pointing after he scored or something.
Oh, yeah. He went over the top.
Yeah, over the top. See, I noticed something when Emerson came off. for the substitution. He like proper hugged Conte. I was like quite surprised. I was like,
yeah, they seem a little way too close to for comfort, don't
I was
they?
like, okay. I was like, okay, maybe something's like brewed.
Maybe he just thinks he can. Scott, that would be great.
Episode.
Maybe he thinks he's the way forward. I mean, just don't get it. I mean, I can understand certain attributes. If Scott's going to disagree, but there's certain attributes, like I say, his running, his fitness, his eagerness, his enthusiasm, but unfortunately, most of the time that doesn't win you games. That doesn't get you the results you really need. All right, I know we won yesterday, but still, it's not for me going forward. I hope he doesn't stay. And I like Emerson as a person, as a character,
he's a nice guy.
but as a player for us and moving forward, it's just not. It's not for me.
But like hypothetically speaking, if Emerson could fix his end product, do you think he'd actually be a really good wing back?
Well, I mean, is that going to
happen? I know it might not happen, but I'm saying,
is that going to happen, or is it more likely that Jesus is going to come back? I don't know.
I feel like I'm saying that I'm being like an Emerson advocate right now, but
look, it's at the end of the day, it's what you believe, isn't it? I don't like him as a player for what we need. He may be all right further down the line for somebody else, but for what Spurs want, or what I think we should going for, we should be going for better wing backs than that. If we're serious, like people keep saying, we should be going for these wing backs, but we've got Emerson, so.
And says it not.
Because
do you feel like we won't sign another wing back? Because I don't see us signing one this window at all.
No, I can't see us signed another one. I think they're just going to persist with it because we're getting the results. I guess it's the first game, but we start getting more and more results, and it solidifies the team. The team start, they start clicking and gelling again properly. I can see him sticking with it. I can see him going for another centre back, to be honest. And then obviously, hopefully, this Zaniolo guy, I don't know. That seems to be linked all the time. I know I'm linking it on my Twitter page a lot.
I saw your tweets.
I'm posting it a lot. But to be fair, there's a lot of unusual activity. Like, yes, it's coming from some dodgy sources, but it's picking up a bit of traction as well. I know he's played.
I've noticed that too.
He's played today though.
Okay.
So it can't be that far along if he's played. Because normally they don't play you if something, if you've got an in the know or whatever it is. Not that you listen to 90% of
ITK.
Yeah. You get an ITK and they say, oh, yeah, it's getting close. He wouldn't be playing that game, would he, if it was getting close, surely?
But also, touching on ITKs, Maddison played yesterday for Leicester. Or today, was it today or yesterday? For Leicester. So, and he's rumoured to be on his way out or up for sale if the right offer comes along.
I can't
with Zaniolo, because I don't know if I asked you last time, but do you think he's the answer to our creative or lack of creative issues? Or
I don't think he's overall the answer. I think he can help. I think he's a good player, but I just don't think. I think there's better out there. I think we can get we can get a better sort of midfielder out there. Attacking midfielder. But then again, I suppose it's the versatility that Conte's after, isn't it? Zaniolo can play across that midfield. He can play as a striker. He can play. He can even come as a wing back. From what the reports have been saying, that's what he can do. Whether he can or not, or wants to, who knows? But is there better players out there? Yes. How do we know we're not going for one of these better players because it's all under the radar? Maybe. But we just don't know. I don't know. Maybe next week we'll have a bit more light on things and what's going on. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
I confess, I haven't seen much of Zaniolo at all. And I didn't even watch the friendly because I was at a wedding. So I couldn't.
I watched about 10 to 15 games.
Right. One thing I've been pushing in terms of the lack of creative player, whatever you want to call it, is I think we need to sign someone who's quite versatile. And if Zaniolo is this versatile, he can play as a wing back, he can play in the middle of midfield, he can play in the front three, then maybe he could be the answer, because you have to also take into consideration this creative player might not start every game.
No.
So he's going to need to be able to play loads of positions, because if he's going to start or come on and make an impact, he's going to have to be able to slot into loads of places.
But that's the thing as well. Conte likes versatility in a player. If you've just got one tool in your belt or one tool in your toolbox, it's kind of, you're restricted, aren't you? Unless you are a world-class player in that position. a Guardiola or a Bastoni or something like that,
Mm.
then I think he's quite happy to say, no, you stay exactly where I want you. But I think at the moment he's just making do with the positions. He's trying things, hence why Lucas is obviously, we spoke about this last time, but
Wing
why
back,
Lucas
yeah.
is gone, has been tried as a wing back. But I think Zaniolo can do stuff for us. I mean, I don't think he's total shy. He's not shy. He's a good player, but
Yeah.
why don't we just ever go out and get a player for what we need instead of trying to make do with in that position? It annoys me.
I mean, the high standards we have, it probably would annoy us, to be honest.
Yeah,
But like for me, it's probably not going to happen. But the one player I really earmarked is someone who could play everywhere, was someone like Nkunku at Leipzig.
okay, yeah,
Like the next big thing. I don't know if you know about him, but he can play like as an actual striker. He can play in the wide areas. He can play in the middle.
yeah.
He's meant to be like the next big thing, but I think his release clause is like something crazy from what I remember.
No, it's not. It's not £1 billion. It's £1 billion
No,
or something stupid like that.
Yeah, but Leipzig, they're just a club where they seem to bring these players and then they go for big money somewhere else.
That's what they do. As
Yeah.
clubs, there's lots of clubs like that. They'll do that. They'll just produce players, sell them on, and start again. Ajax were big with that in the '90s, weren't they? Sort of late
Still
90s.
are,
They are still, yeah, they are still like that. But I mean, it was dominantly everyone knew you come from Ajax, the academy, the kids come from there. You're going to get a blinding player. Just look at some of the players that come through to the Prem. From that era. But yeah, I don't know. I hope we do something soon, and we know. How many weeks we got left? 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Is it end of the month? It closes 3 weeks then.
Yeah, we've got to be 3 weeks now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
now we'll touch on the midfield three. Were you happy with how they did? Because I was going to touch on Romero's tackle. Did you think it was a red card?
Yeah, I did.
You did.
But it was a brilliant tackle. It was great. I loved it. I thought as soon as they were checking it, I thought he was going. Honestly, I just thought, yeah, he's gone, because the way he took him, he swiped him. It's beautiful. I mean, I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that, but it was beautiful the way it happened. Just swiped him. And then when he got up and then the ref came over and he sort of put to check it, and I thought, oh man, he's obviously been booked, but they're going to turn the yellow card into a red because it's obviously been a dangerous tackle. And I thought, nah, he's going. I was praying that he wasn't, but luckily he didn't. So I don't know. It looked like Stud was up a little bit. So when he came in with his right foot, it looked, but obviously the studs didn't connect. So I think that's probably what swayed it a little bit. But it's a great tackle.
I mean, I don't know what stream you watched, but was it an English one or the stream you watched?
It was a
3 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah, it was 3 o'clock kickoff, but it was I think it was an English one. Very
Did
biased.
they think it was a red card?
Nah, they just, from what I can remember, it was just I was a bit reckless, and then he's a lucky lad, he got away with that kind of thing.
All right, okay.
That was about it. I can't remember which. Do you know what? I can't even remember who the commentators were. To be fair, it was an American channel, but it was English commentators.
Yeah,
I can't
NBC
remember
Sports or something like that. Yeah,
I don't know what it was. It was It was awful. It was awful quality. To be fair, it was rubbish.
No, I just wondered, but then I remembered it's a 3 o'clock kickoff, so you probably won't have got much commentary out of it, as in like the reaction from like the pundits about it. As well.
Right,
it was a red card.
No.
Okay, so I'm going to touch on the middle of midfield now.
Mm.
Okay, so Basuma didn't start, and Skip is obviously injured.
Yeah.
So it was Højbjerg and Bentancur. So as a pairing, obviously you've seen most of them last year. What did you think? Do you think they did all right yesterday?
Yeah, I thought Kulusevski. We're going to touch on Kulusevski.
We'll go a bit later. Yeah.
We'll do that later. But Bentancur, for me, off the ball, his work rate, the way he was just what he was doing was top level for me. I thought he had a really, really good game for me, and so did Højbjerg as well. He was busy. He was sort of doing what he does. Going in consistently running. He was really good. A little bit sloppy now and then. Of course, not every play is perfect, but apart from his defending, with that Ward-Prowse, because I think the ball bounced over him, didn't it? He went to jump up for it, but he missed that. I thought they done well as a pair, and I thought they sort of commanded that midfield, to be fair. I can't lie.
I think for me, Bentancur, it's probably unpopular opinion. I don't think it's popular or unpopular, but anyway, I think he was our man of the match yesterday. To be honest with
Yeah,
you,
that's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah,
I thought he was just so good.
yeah.
He can do absolutely anything.
Mm.
I think
When
as
he's
a
on his
central
game,
midfielder.
when he is on
Yeah.
his game and he's on it, you know, everything. All right, like I say, there was a few little things, you know, given the ball, but that happens. But overall, 90% of his game for me was spot on. He's brilliant. I thought he like I say, Højbjerg commanded sort of the defense, which he's meant to do, the defensive side of things, which is great. Running at balls, grabbing the ball, passing it on, passing it forward, whatever. And Bentancur, obviously, he dropped back and done what he had to do now and then, but pushing that ball forward or taking it forward and creating, you know, pushing the ball out or finding somebody, I thought he was brilliant. And, you know, just the whole commitment from him. He was my man of the match.
Yeah, because most people say Kulusevski.
Yeah.
so
But it's easy
right.
to say Kulusevski because
Yeah.
he was bloody class. He was he was brilliant. But off the ball, if you take away from Kulu, you know, they were both brilliant. But for me, Bentancur just you know, shades it.
So do you think there's a, I don't know if that's a chance, that's the right way to say it, but I've noticed none of the bigger clubs have been linked with him at all. Or
Who?
none of the people in Europe have been linked with him at all, which is, do you think that's surprising, or do you think he's going under the radar? Because
as in Bentancur, you mean?
Yeah.
I just think they've seen him on Juventus's bench. They thought he was some sort of castaway, right? And no one was interested. I think that's what it is, you know. Because let's be honest, a lot of our fans, you know, were doubting it. Him and Kulu.
I was one of them.
And I was one of them. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We were. He's like, oh, we're going to get their cast off. What they're going to be like. But look at them. You know, luckily, look at them. Look at the impact. Without them two, we wouldn't be top four. As simple as that for me.
I think another thing with Bentancur that I've noticed is that he can play every single role in midfield, pretty much.
Defensive.
He can be the destroyer. He can be the not playmaker, or whatever that is, box-to-box player. He can be the guy. I remember the old days when he had Huddleston spraying the passes. He can do that.
Right. Yeah.
He can drive with the ball. He can do absolutely anything. And I think he's the one midfielder we have out of the four who can probably play with all three of them. Like, it doesn't matter who he plays alongside, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So on evidence of that, because a lot of people have been pushing this whole, it has to be Højbjerg or Skip with Bentancur or Bissouma. What would your pairing be? Assuming all four are fit.
Look, well, at the moment, what we got to think about is Bissouma's not 100% yet, is he? We don't know what he's going to be like. He hasn't had enough time with Bentancur. But for me, Bentancur has to be in that starting midfield.
I don't know how you can't drop him.
Every single game. I know it's not going to happen, but he has to be to start because it's all right having all these other players coming in for cover, but you want that stability. You want them players that are going to gel. All right, it's a little bit harder if they get injured and stuff. I get that, but nah, Bentancur, you could not. We go in Chelsea next week and we ain't got Bentancur.
Yeah.
No, we just can't do that. You know, Bentancur's a definite starter for me, but I think Højbjerg as well. I think that both of them together, they're creating a nice little, you know, partnership. You know, I know there's lots of people that don't really, they're not into Højbjerg. You know, they think he's clumsy or they think he ain't got nothing else about him. But he does the job that he needs to do. He does command as well. He does what he needs to do. You know, is he upgradable? Yeah, we know he's upgradable. But is he shit? I don't think he's shit at all. I think he does the job and it proved it. Yeah, like I say, he made a few mistakes, but he got us where we needed to get to. How's it going, Hayden?
Yeah, you're right. So, I mean, for me, I think I'd like to see Bentancur with Bissouma as a pairing.
Yeah, of course. I'd love to see that, you know, but I think in a game, that's not Chelsea. That's not you know, probably taken for granted, but you know, like a Bournemouth or something, you know, a lower team, just to get the rhythm, just to get them going a little bit. I'd love to see that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, that's why we bought Bissouma, right? Because I'm hoping, fingers crossed, he's going to be a starter for us.
That's what I'm saying, you know. So you can't drop Bentancur. For me, he has to play, especially after the last game. And I want to see Bissouma as well. So
yeah, we will see Bissouma. We will see more of him once he's 100% over his, because I think he's still got a bit of a hamstring thing going on. Slight. I mean, he can play because he was obviously on the bench, but I think he's just being precautionary. Conte, obviously, don't want to put him in and rupture anything else or whatever. But no, we will see him. Otherwise, what's the point of bloody buying the guy? We've got to see him.
Yeah, but like for example, for someone like Skip, he's probably fourth choice right now. Obviously, he's injured, but I'm saying regardless, I think he'd probably be fourth choice, right?
Yeah.
So if you're saying Højbjerg has to start, I'm like, who do you drop? It's a good problem to have. But could you see a scenario whereby we switch to like a 3-5-2 and play three of them?
Yeah, I could, yeah. And I think that's where Basuma would come into play. I think, because what you'll have Bentancur, Basuma as the attacking kind of, but the peacekeepers across the middle, and then you'll have Højbjerg, sort of the defensive midfielder for me, and then you'll have the other two sort of pushing forward and spraying, well, not spraying balls up, but supplying everyone else, and keeping that midfield ticking. So yeah, I think Conte will go to that formation at some point, but again, it all depends on the team. Depends who we're playing. If he's happy to go with what we've got now against teams like obviously Southampton, and look at the result, look at that, how that came off, and we was on it after, eventually after 20 minutes. But yeah, he will change it up, and that's the whole point, isn't it? That's Conte. I mean, does he like doing it? People say no, he never plays it, but he does. He proved it at Inter, didn't he? He done it at Inter. Yeah, I think towards the back end of the season, didn't he, with Eriksen, right?
Yeah, he put him in a 4-3, 3-5-2.
Exactly. And I'm not being funny. What did they end up winning the title?
Yeah.
So,
he knows what he's doing.
You've got to trust Conte. I mean, for a long time, I couldn't accept, like, okay, we've got the players we got in this season, the transfer window so far. But I'm thinking if we go into next season with most of the same players that we've got, your Dyers, your Davies, your Emersons, your Sesses, I just can't see. I couldn't see us doing anything, that great or anything like, at least being consistent. But you got to give it. It's first game of the season. I know that, but you got to give it to him. The worst players in that team, at least he's getting something from them. And they may not be everyone's first choice, but that's what he's got until we get better players. Until further notice, yeah. And I'm sure there will be more. Like I said, I'm expecting another two this window.
Where does Son fit in the 3-5-2? Because I think Kulu, Cam, and Rich and Kane up top. Oh, that's interesting. Richarlison and Kane up top.
Yeah, I forgot about Richarlison. I forgot we had him.
He was suspended, didn't it? So
yeah. Conte will find a way. I mean, we've got options. I think our strike force is the most strongest, obviously, and they won't mind being swapped around, changed. If they want to win stuff, we want to win stuff. They'll go with Conte. They seem to buy into what he wants. So I don't think we're going to have an issue with that. They'll find a way. You never know. He might find a new formation.
Well,
who knows?
6-5
up front.
Yeah, just chuck them all on.
Yeah, get them up. But
it's interesting to bring up something like that because Kulusevski even had like a small spell in one game. I remember last season playing as a right wing back because he shifted players around. He put Lucas.
Yeah. He said that though, didn't he, in that interview? He said he can play. He says he sees himself more as was it a 10 or an 8?
10,
I can't remember.
I think
a 10. Yeah, sorry, a 10. He says, but he can play. He's going to play right wing back, anywhere in centre midfield. So do you know what I mean? Can you imagine like the versatility we've got in Kulu? All right, Bentancur, but Pierre does what he does. But we've got that versatility. Perisic, yeah. My God, he can switch.
He can play anywhere, I think, pretty much.
Well, apparently he can play in defence. He can play all sorts. So you can imagine if we wanted to be really experimental and he wanted to switch up. Not that he will, because he goes with what works, doesn't he, Conte? What works for him and has been for 20 odd years. So, or 15, 20 years, whatever it is. He'll just, I don't know. I think we're looking all right. We do need more players. Of course we do. But I think good start. First game of the season. It is a little bit early to start going, brilliant. Look at us. We're going to finish second or third or whatever, That's the hope, but we'll see. It looks just looking good. I was excited yesterday about it.
I think now we should probably touch on the front three because I think we've gone for everyone else. So first I'm going to start with the big question for me. How do you think Kane played? Because No.
Look, in terms of being a out and out striker, he had a poor game,
Yeah.
but there were things he done off the ball. You know, he was picking up. I'm not saying he was brilliant. He wasn't. I think I scored him a 6 or something on some
Really?
other show. I think Sean's show.
All right.
I scored him a 6, but you got to look at a different angle as well. You know, there's other things he did. You know, again, he dropped back a little bit. He was, you know, he played the ball out a few times. He wasn't great. Let's be honest. Son wasn't great either. Son didn't
I think
have a great.
Son had a bit of a better game, but I think Kane. You know what really alarmed me is, do you remember there was that chance when he was like on the halfway line and decided to shoot?
Oh
Remember this?
yeah, what was he
I was like,
thinking?
what was that? I was like, sorry, but he didn't seem. I was really not bring this up, especially with Kane and Son, is that during pre-season they were scoring goals, and obviously Kane did that little cut-in goal.
Yeah.
I remember, and a lot of people were quite. How to speak to at least Spurs fans that I speak to were quite excited, thinking Kane and Son will come into the season being sharp, you know, prolific, right? And I don't think we saw that at all.
No. I mean, it could be a number of things, couldn't it? They were just had an off game. They could have been burnt out. We just don't know. I'm not making excuses for them. We just don't know, do we? But one thing I did like, we didn't rely on Son and Kane. You know, and that's the key. Whereas before, people go, "Oh, you're the Kane and Son show. You're the Kane and Son team, or you're the Kane team." That wasn't the case. Dyer getting on the score sheet, Cess getting on the score sheet. All right, you know, it's not a norm, is it?
No.
You know, all right. Dyer had that one in friendly in pre-season, but yeah, man, that's a pretty good finish, man, for a defender. That was a really good header,
K-League one, right?
Crouching header.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show other avenues are opening up now. You know, we've got more options. You know, better players we have more options, and the ball's being played. You know, not directly to Son and Kane all the time, well, especially not in that game anyway.
So I think now we can touch on the man of the moment that everyone seems to be talking about, Kulusevski. So what do you think about him yesterday?
He was shit.
He was shit. Oh, he's not good enough. Okay.
6 to me, mate. Yeah. No, I give him a solid 8. You know, he had a little bit of a dodgy spell, didn't he? He didn't start the best, I thought.
No.
But my God, didn't he turn it on? He picked up, got into the game, and he was just sublime. He was unbelievable. Just the touches, the vision, just everything about what he was doing after that, you know, sloppy moment. And that finish, it's kind. Do you know what I mean? Forget about it.
I think like his trademark now. I don't remember the was it Norwich? I think he scored a similar goal.
Yeah. Brings it down onto his left, but it's very you can read it, can't you? So it only takes 2 people to, you know, two players to stamp him out over that side, and he'll be, you know, a few teams done that before the Norwich game, if I remember rightly. They just had a couple of players on him constantly, and he wasn't able to, you know, do what he normally does. But no, that was brilliant. There's nothing else I can say about Kulu. He's just brilliant.
Too good.
Brilliant, yeah, awesome.
I think with Kulusevski, for me, the thing I've noticed with him, especially last game, is his touch, his first touch, and his ball control is it's a level I haven't seen since like Berbatov.
He reminds me. Do you know what he reminds me of? Like a going back, like a Glenn Hoddle.
Oh, I wasn't alive at that point.
So no, but I'm not saying I'm not comparing him to Glenn Hoddle. I'm just talking about the touch. His touch.
Was Glenn Hoddle like that?
Well, have you not ever seen any footage of Glenn Hoddle?
Only highlights. I mean,
you've seen highlights. But if you watch? I mean, just go and watch Glenn Hoddle. Seriously, like the way he picks the ball up. All right, Glenn Hoddle was a lot. Well, I think he was a bit more skillful than Kulu, but Kulu's just got that vibe about him for me. You know, when you watch him, you'll see what I mean. Just his vision, just his calmness on the ball too. For his age, what is he? 22?
Yeah, now? He's only 22. Yeah,
he's 22, but he doesn't play like he's 22. He plays like he's someone in his peak. For me, he plays like he's 25, 26. You know, that's sort of that peak footballer's level. He's just, honestly, mate, he's unbelievable. Just his whole timing, his control, his vision, and it's like he's telepathically linked to the rest of them. You know. He just knows where they're going to be. He just knows it. I reckon that's just Conte driving him at training. Right, this is where you got to be. This is this. This is that, and you got to be. It's amazing, mate. I love the guy. I can't. I mean, it's it's the other team's fault they didn't even pick up on Kulusevski, honestly, because we got a bargain.
I have to admit, with him, after the first game, I was quite skeptical because I got like bad vibes, like the Mela. I was like, no, this guy's
Right.
like the Mela.
Yeah.
But I almost feel like, and I said this on Hotspur Hood, and it was like yesterday. Yeah, they had like a fan cam thing, whatever.
Right. Yep.
And yeah, I felt like he's turned into what Lamella was supposed to be for us. Because remember, Lamella didn't have exactly that pace. He had those step overs, whatever, and skill. But obviously, people who were like, "Oh, his work rate's really good." But I feel like with Kulusevski, like you said, in the sense that we're looking at a player who's playing as if he's like 26,
right,
25,
yeah.
right? And he's only
He
22.
plays with experience, but he
Yeah,
doesn't
it's almost
have
like
that
he's playing
experience.
but he's
Yeah,
older than he is. Yeah,
exactly.
But like with Lamella, we hoped at least because he didn't have the pace, he didn't have that. He would be a player who would take on a player, maybe not the fastest, but be a sort of creative spark in some way.
Yeah,
But I think like we're getting that from Kulusevski plus more.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like he's the player we thought Lamella was going to be.
Yeah,
I
and
really do.
he's just turned out to be a godsend for us. You know, like I say, without him, you know, and Benska obviously, but without him, he's just transformed that right side, you know, right striker, you know, that attack side. He's just transformed it completely for us, 100%.
I think he has the highest amount of goal involvement since he's joined.
He has, yeah. Assists. Yeah. I can't remember. Was it 13 or something? I can't remember. I can't.
Yeah, something like that.
Something. I'm not 100%. I'll have to look back at it. But yeah, you know, it was a massive debate again on Twitter. Oh, Saka and Kulu.
Oh, God, I saw that. Yeah.
Oh my God, Saka over Kulu. It was like, well, I just look at the stats and look at the impact in 7 months we've had him. It's 7 months, isn't it? Yeah, we got him in January, didn't we? Yeah. So the 7 months we've had him compared to the 3 years or 2 years that Saka's been at Arsenal, and it's like, who's had the most? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Who would you like going forward? I know who I'm choosing. It's not because I'm a Spurs fan. It's just I know who I'm choosing. It's Kulu every time.
But do you think, say, touch on Benska and Kulusevski again? Obviously, they've been here since January, so the new signings that we've had didn't play yesterday. They were there from before. But do you think because they played at such a high level at a team like Juventus, that's why they settled in so quickly and have made such huge impact? Do you think that's
quite possibly, but also because of Conte, you know, and Conte knows the system that they played, you know, Italian football. He knows what to expect from what sort of their work rate, their attitude. He knew, you know, I can certainly believe that he wanted them to. A lot of people say, no, he didn't want it. It was Paratici. He just got, I deep down believe that Conte really wanted, like Paratici said, look, we got these two. And he's gone, yeah, you know, grab them kind of thing. And I'm so glad that, you know, we got them through on the last day of the window. That was so, I think 4 hours before it closed. I think we got them. But I'm not going to lie, I was doubting it because I didn't know much about them. You know, I didn't know much about. I knew they were at Juventus, and I knew they started off well, but then they got sort of demoted to the bench. Kulu came on. You know, I know they were using Kulu a lot.
Were they? Oh.
But Bentancur was sort of
he was
second.
Like...
I can't remember who he was second to, but he lost his place. I can't remember who was playing for the centre back. Oh, someone in the comments probably tell me. I don't know. But yeah, I just thought, here we go. We've got some bench warmers coming, like loads of people thought. And my God, did they prove us wrong massively.
I think with Benska, from what I heard about his reputation, he always was quite rated in Italy. So, and I know he starts for Uruguay, so I wasn't kind of as skeptical about him when we signed him, and because we really did need a central midfielder, right? But also with him, I think he was a regular in Juventus, and then he lost his place, like you said.
That's right. Yeah.
Like
I can't remember who it was too. He just lost his place. It wasn't because he was bad. It was just because the other guy kept his place and was just having he was having good performances. I wouldn't say it was. It's a manager just preferred probably him over Bentancur, but Bentancur got demoted and he stayed there for until we got him. But it's a shame. But you know, we lucked out with them too, definitely.
But I think with Kulusevski, from what I heard, Conte did want him when he was at Inter Milan, I think.
Oh, okay, right.
That's someone told me this. I can't remember who. Yeah, so Kulusevski is sort of like a player he's probably always liked, and because if you think about where he's put him in the team, he's taken Lucas's place, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he had a plan for him even from like back then to chuck him into that
maybe
position.
You wouldn't put it past Conte, would you? You wouldn't put it past him. But it's just unbelievable. Oh yeah, his overall game yesterday. Like I say, apart from the first, I don't know 10 minutes probably. Well, no, I'd say the first 20 minutes because obviously we were playing poor as a team, weren't we? Really, we weren't really doing much, and then we just kicked in, and Kulu kicked in, and then we just dominated. We had most of the possession. We kept our shape. Everything was brilliant for me.
I think with Kulusevski, do you think that, obviously you mentioned before that he said he could play as a 10. Do you think we don't need a creative player because we have him? As in, do you think...
You mean you think he might bypass getting a creative player completely and just swap and change?
Something to that effect, but because I know a lot of people were telling me, even in the end of last season, saying we don't need a number 10 because Kulusevski is the creative spark in the team, let's say. Because if you see even yesterday, obviously he got more goal involvements. He set up Sessegnon's goal, right?
Yeah.
And even his goal was, he's coming almost like... Do you remember when Eriksen under Pochettino?
Yeah.
He played off the left, obviously, in that scenario.
Right.
And he was coming in and being creative in that sense.
Yeah.
He wasn't exactly playing as a number 10 because Ali was playing as like a second striker, I think. Oh, in this case, obviously, it's just slightly different. You've got Kulusevski is on the right coming inside, and then you've got Emerson or whoever. I mean, when Doherty plays, it's probably a bit more wide. And then Son's obviously making more of the runs forward, and Kane's dropping off.
Yeah.
So it's almost like this three's like a triangle or something.
That's right.
Like that.
Yeah, it's like they're just
or like
doing
tucked
this.
in, and someone's tucked in, and someone's, and then and that allows obviously the wing backs to go further forward and stretch the play, right? But do you think, I'm just using this example with Eriksen Poch and playing off the left, because obviously in that team we relied on Eriksen for the creativity, right?
Yeah.
So in this one, obviously Kane does provide it sometimes, and it was his chief job under Mourinho because we didn't have another player.
No, exactly.
Do you think, because say we have Kane and Kulusevski now, they are both starters, do you think the club won't go out and sign a creative player because Kulusevski is going to be that guy, let's say?
No, I can see us actually signing somebody because you got to take into account injuries as well. You got to remember, if Kane's out, we got Richarlison to come in, or Son's out, we got Richarlison. Richarlison's out, we got Kane, Son, blah, etc., etc. But who we got? We got Bissouma. So sorry, someone on that right. So we're talking about Kulu, right, on the right hand side, yeah.
Lucas,
right? Okay. Lucas can probably do a 10-15 minute job towards the end of the game, depending if we're a goal up, two, 3 goals up, whatever. But would I want to start with Lucas straight off from the off? No. So I know people saying we have got more depth than we had.
We do
definitely, but it's we need more. Without sounding greedy, we do need more.
Yeah.
And we could do with an additional midfielder and, like I said, centre back. But I go back to your question. No, I don't. He's got the option to use them players and switch them around if he wants to. Yeah. So I guess maybe at some point he will, if we're desperate, or we're down a player, or we're out a couple of players. Because we've got 4 competitions this year. So 2 cups, obviously Champions League and the league. So it could be a possibility, and it could be some things that he's going to try that we didn't expect formation wise. Because let's be real, we've got the players to do it. The strike force and the midfield. The midfielders, like I say, is getting a little bit more solid now. Could do with another one, but we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
But are you saying about changing formations and stuff like that? I'm for that, going to like a traditional 3-5-2 if the scenario happens. But in that case, I know I think it was Hayden mentioned this about playing Kulu in the cam and Richarlison and Kane up top, and like where does Son fit? Because Son for me is not really a striker. I think he's either like a second striker.
He's a supporting striker, isn't he?
Or a wide player who comes inside.
No,
if you were to change to 3-5-2.
Yeah. Well, Son to me, I've never seen Son as an out-and-out striker anyway.
No.
He's like a striker that plays behind the front too. And that's not striker, sorry, an attacking, almost like an advanced attacking winger. Yeah, behind the two. He supplies, but he can do it, can't he? I don't know. It's a hard one. I mean, I can see Conte going to a 3-5-2 though.
You can.
Yeah.
Would it be like a 3-5-2 with a 10 or a 3-5-2 with 3 central midfielders?
Well, let's break it down. So you've got your back 3 anyway, which we know is going to be Dyer, Romero, Langley Davis, or whatever. Yeah. So 3 midfielders: Bissouma, Perisic. We could Perisic. I keep forgetting about him, buddy, on being a left wing back, but it's Perisic. So we've got Bissouma. What do you call it?
Bentancur.
Bentancur, yeah. So Bissouma, Bentancur. Forget Winks. Forget all the other shit. You know, we've got three good midfielders, goodish midfield. Well, two really good midfielders, and then a Højbjerg, who's I think he's all right.
He's all right. Yeah.
He's all right. He does the job. He does the job,
Yeah.
doesn't he? But like I say, he did help that game out yesterday. But I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a dodgy one. The thing is, most of our creativity comes from the wing. It's meant to come from the wing backs, right? Get out to the wings, you put a ball in. Well, that's not happening 9 times out of 10, right? So we're going to have to find another way. So for him to do that, I think sometimes he's going to have to put three in the middle. I just think he's going to have to do it unless we get that Cam in. You know, he's going to be shit hot, world class, you know, and do the job for us. But I can't. I don't know. Just don't know. Is he going to make do, or are we going to go and get that other player in?
Zaniolo or whatever it is.
Yeah. Who knows?
Because we've been linked with Adama Traore as well. I don't know if you saw that.
See, I think he'd be all right for squad depth. I wouldn't want him to start. But can you imagine? But I'm not a fan of him, no. But can you imagine him coming on sort of 10, 15 minutes towards the end, trying to hold the game out and him running towards you?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to be on the other end.
There's nothing else. The only thing he will do, I mean, we know he got no end product. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying to bore people in the comments go, oh, yeah, you know, he wants Troy. I don't. I'm just saying if you had him and you had him as depth and you brought him on, just think how much space he would create for Son and Kane by him running. So in other words, obviously he'd come on in Kulu's place probably, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
around that sort of,
or as a right wing back and come on instead of.
Yeah, but can you imagine him when he picks the look? No one can fault him. We know he can pick the ball up, and we know he can run with the
drive,
ball and drive, right? And could you just imagine, you know, United or whatever it is going against whatever team, and just bringing him on, and just letting him steampile forward? You know what I mean? Let's be fair. Every time he came on against any team, they shit their pants.
It's true.
It's honestly, I don't care what people say about Adama, right? Yeah. You may not like him. That's fair enough. He had that attribute he's got of running. You know, he has got a bit of control on him, but he just can't finish. But as soon as he starts running towards defenses, they just shit themselves. You know what I mean? And that's what I'd want him for. That's the only thing I'd want him for. It's that game management is pulling them all out, giving us a bit more opportunity.
Another player we linked with, I don't know if this transfer is probably not going to happen now, but I didn't say Maxim at Newcastle.
Yeah, see, a lot of people
don't
are saying,
you think him and Adama are quite similar?
Yeah, in other words, they got no end product. So they carry the ball up, they do all what they need to do.
Yeah.
Then, you know, but don't get me wrong, St. Maximin, I like St. Maximin. I like flair players anyway. But Gil proves the point. Gil's a flair player. All right, he's not on the level of St. Maximin or anything like that, you know, but he's that type of player. But they don't get you anywhere. I mean, like I say, I mean, you've got St. Maximin running towards. Look at him play for Newcastle the other day. You know, he done okay. He was running. He was doing all these step overs. Went to the edge of the box, lost the ball, and then it started to start again. It was just like he's all show and no go sometimes, and that's for me. So I wouldn't want him. No, I like him. I like St. Maximin.
Yeah,
but again, he causes you issues, causes you shit running towards you. You don't know what he's going to do with the ball. I don't think he knows what he's doing with the ball half the time. You know, he's taking it, doing all the step overs, drag backs, and he forgets the ball. You know, it's gone somewhere else. But yeah, it'd be a good squad depth player, you know. But I don't know if I would have him starting for me. If I was the manager, I don't think I would.
So on evidence of the fact that it was quite a comfortable win yesterday, I mean, we're going to do a Chelsea preview on Thursday regardless. So, and I'm going to try and get a Chelsea fan on. So, yeah, it's probably going to happen. So, looking forward, are you going into that game with confidence now compared to before? Are you more confident? Because I think they won. I think the other day.
I'm more confident. Yeah, I'm more confident because we're coming off of a winning game, so we've got momentum. So I'm more confident. But we're at Stamford Bridge, and it's going to go two ways, isn't it? We're going to go there, completely bottle it, and just let them play, even though they're not that great, because they wasn't great last time. Let's be honest. They weren't brilliant when we played them. We were just really, don't get me wrong, they were good. But what I mean is, I'm not trying to say, you know, we were really poor. That's why they beat us. I'm not saying that. They beat us because we were shite. We was absolute shit, right? It was our own faults. But we either go there and based on, you know, what Conte's got us doing, what we've seen in the first few games, well, especially, you know, this game, I am a little bit confident. Am I thinking we're going to go down, smash them? No, I don't think that at all, because it's Chelsea, and you just don't write Chelsea off. Doesn't matter what situation or how low they are. They always something.
Can't.
You can't write them off. Some teams you can go, yeah, that's all right. We'll come back. But Chelsea, you just can't. They still got decent players. They just bought that. Is it Koulibaly? Is it? I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Koulibaly.
Koulibaly.
Yeah.
So they just got him in. We don't
Sterling.
know. Sterling, exactly. All right. To be fair, I don't think Sterling's been great for him. He's made runs. He's done all right, but I don't think he's been brilliant for him.
No.
But anyway, he is fast. They've got that option. And you never know. They might get a couple more players in by the time we have to play them. We just don't know, do we?
Because I think they got linked, because they're chasing a striker, right? So they were.
I don't know. Is it? Oh, okay. Aubameyang, yeah.
Which is quite a strange thing. I was like, okay, but I think, don't you think it's a good time to play them now? Because apart from the fact it's the second game, they seem to me, and I hope this doesn't bite me back in the arse next week,
Yeah.
but it seems to me that I don't know exactly what Tuchel was trying to do with them now, because obviously they did with the Champions League, obviously that season. Last year they fell off near the end. I'm not sure. They had a Lukaku issue, of course. He was not an unsuccessful signing. They even have Broja or something.
Oh, Broja. Yeah.
They're not using him. I think he's on his way out, which is hence the Aubameyang link, right? So they're playing with like no striker, right? There seemed to be a bit, from what I saw of them, and I only saw like the first half, I think.
Yeah.
A bit disjointed in that game. And obviously they did win. They must scrape the win. I didn't see the second half, but don't you think this is like our best chance to go to Stamford Bridge and win?
Oh, of course. It's like City when we went to City the first game of the season. It's definitely the best time to go and play him. But it's whether we turn up. That's the whole issue. If we turn up with the confidence, not just Southampton, but just this so-called confidence that's running through the whole Spurs camp, the whole club, and the happiness and everyone wanting to do what they want, buying into the whole project. If we go into the Chelsea game like up here, of course, our performance is going to, show that. But we know. I mean, what's the history? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we're not going to. I think we're going to give them a good game. I think we're going to do well. I just want us to, from the off. I don't want this bullshit like sitting back and worrying about. Everything's got to matter. We've got to make it count. Because if we don't, again, it's all Spurs. It's Spurs it up again and at the bridge. But I'm excited about it. I'm a bit nervous, of course. Do I think we get something out of it? Yeah, I do think we'll get something out of it. If we get anything less than a draw, obviously a loss. If we get anything less than that, it's just silly. It's a waste of time, isn't it? We should be going there, guns blazing, just going for it. Nothing to lose really now. We've got Conte, we've got the team we've got that passion, so-called passion. Let's go and just go and do it. See what we can do.
For me, I'm the same. I think if we lose the game and not at least draw, I'd be quite disappointed, because I think Chelsea, for me right now, I have us as third above them anyway at the end of the season. And I think, like I said, I don't really know what they're trying to do in terms of.
No, I watched that game.
I don't really know what they're trying to do. It's very strange for me that they go out and buy big on someone like Sterling, because they really need a striker. So why are you going and spending that much money on something like that? And they were linked with Ake as well, I think, during Ake at City.
Yes, they were. Yeah, they got turned down with that, didn't they?
And Kunde didn't go through. Barca just keep stealing their targets. But
no, that's funny though.
Yeah, but as in, I'm not sure what Tuchel's trying to do with them. And until that happens, I'm quite confident going into the game. But say if we went into that game and say they sign a striker like tomorrow, I'd be a bit less inclined. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So
I don't think I'll have anyone in place
and just lay down a marker for me.
I think we need to make a statement. If we go there, we get the win. Right? We can't have nothing less than a win. We have to win it. We have to. There's just no option. If we want to, Chelsea's game will tell us fans a lot about that team. But then they're probably telling us, say, well, Chelsea's disjointed and it's a weaker team. But Chelsea is still Chelsea, and we can't take that for granted. No fan can take that for granted. I don't care how much you hate him. I hate him, But you can't write him off. You just can't write Chelsea off. They've got a knack of just pulling something out of the hat at the last minute, you know. But in answer to your question with Tuchel, what is he trying to do? I don't think he really knows what he's trying to do
I don't think he knows.
because Todd Bowley, director of football, the owner, is scattergun buying. To me, it seems like all he's trying to do is nick everyone else's players because they're panicking. After they lost to Arsenal, I'm telling you, right, that would be enough for any team to do that, though.
Yeah.
It's panic after that after that performance against Arsenal. But that's what's happened. He's like, I need players. And then I think he's scattergun buying. I don't think, with Conte, I think he's buying for what he needs and being sensible. What he said, he's being sensible about signings, because I think he said that in a press conference.
Yeah.
Before Matt, he's sensible. All right, we may not think, Richarlison, 60 million on Richarlison for a backup or a rotation player. It's quite excessive.
It's not my money. I mean,
exactly, it's not our money. It's not. That's the whole point, exactly, right? But I don't think Chelsea do have a plan. They know they need a striker and they know they need defenders.
There's no defined sort of.
There's no philosophy. There's not going to be no. It don't seem like there's any philosophy. You know, like what we got, or even what Arsenal are trying to build. You can kind of tell what they're trying to do.
Going to the flairish sort of.
Yeah, like we're going
old
to
football.
We're just going to be twats, possession based.
Yeah.
On the break, that's what we're trying to be. Just arseholes.
And obviously, you've got Liverpool playing the high press still, and you got City doing the tiki taka stuff. With Chelsea, I watched.
Made me sick today watching City. City made me sick.
United obviously lost today, so.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Just the faces in that crowd watching United lose. It was amazing. Brighton were brilliant though. It's not even about United being poor. Brighton were outstanding. Honestly.
I think with Brighton, for me, they are a good side and Potter's a good manager, but I just don't think. I know there was all that talk before Conte came about, we should get Potter and stuff. I don't think he's the level, at least not now, right now, to say it's on this club like Tottenham.
He's not that. He's not elite, is he? He's not.
He's not. I mean, Conte's elite to me. So. Yeah.
Well, Pep Klopp. See, I don't even think Tuchel. I don't.
See, I agree with you, because even at Dortmund, Tuchel was at Dortmund, and I don't think he did that great, which is surprisingly why he ended up at PSG. And then again at PSG, okay, they might have won Ligue 1 or something, but it wasn't again very successful. And I think Chelsea's kind of brought him in to steady the ship. That's how I felt like at the time. Yeah. And obviously they won the Champions League. You can't say,
No, I know exactly.
Right? Yeah. You can't say he was a bad manager. And he is a good, decent tactician. But obviously he's been at Chelsea, right? Is it year 2 or year 3 now?
God, I don't know the history.
I think
2 years?
3.
Is it 3 years?
He's on his 3rd year, I think. Because I think he joined mid-season from Lampard. I think Lampard got sacked. He joined mid-season.
Yeah.
And I think last year, I think he's on year 3 now, I think.
Okay, right.
I still don't see whatever his philosophy is. I don't know. I don't see what he's trying to do with them. It's a bit weird. And Lukaku signing even in itself kind of confused me even more, because I thought Tuchel was a kind of manager, not exactly tiki-taka or high press, kind of in between, in the sense that
Lukaku didn't fit
football. But I wouldn't think he's the kind of guy who just long balled it to Lukaku.
No, exactly.
Have people play off him. Do you know what I mean?
See, Lukaku plays in a 2. So you had your Martinez when he was at Inter, Martinez, and you had Lukaku, right? Obviously, you had Conte at the helm, right? That is where he plays. That's his game.
He doesn't play by himself.
He doesn't play by himself, and it was just a disaster. I think a lot of people could see that flopping anyway. People going, "Oh, he's going to flop." I remember the buzz. I remember everyone, all the Chelsea fans. Yeah, we're going to win the league, and this, that, and the other. We've got Lukaku back, and he's going to score 30+ goals. It was getting stupid. What a reality check. Good, glad.
I think that's what's probably even confusing them most, is that obviously Tuchel signed off that deal, and maybe he was desperate for a striker, because obviously looking now, he seems quite desperate for a striker because they don't have anyone. They're
panicking. That's what's happening.
And I think the Abramovich thing has actually had an effect on them psychologically, because
of course, I think so, definitely. The future of the club at the time, no one knew what was going to happen. Didn't know if they were going into administration, bankrupt, whatever. And yeah, of course, it's going to affect. Imagine all that playing on their minds. Don't know if their players are going to be able to get paid. They'll be able to get players. No one knew anything. So I kind of get that sort of help towards them, sort of their little decline. Excuse me, but nah, it's Chelsea. That's no excuse. Look at the players they got or had.
Yeah.
No excuse. All right, I know a lot of them going now, aren't they? And you got what's his name? Silva. He's 37. Is it Silva?
Thiago Silva.
Thiago
Yeah,
Silva. Yeah. So he's 37. So he's going to be gone probably in a year's time or on his way. So they've got to just rebuild, really. You know, people say, oh, the comparison between Chelsea and Tottenham and these other teams. We're just adding to an already, I'm not saying brilliant team, but I'm just saying like a team that finished top 4.
It's settled.
And it's settled. We know each other and we're moving forward, hopefully, fingers crossed, in the project. Chelsea have got to literally replace their defence, you know, striker, another midfielder probably, you know, and I just think they're going to, I don't think they're going to struggle, but I don't think they're going to be the force they were sort of year ago. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to be that.
No,
I don't want to write them off, but
in the sense that, okay, they signed Sterling, but did they really need a winger? I don't.
No, they didn't.
They didn't need a winger. I don't know why they signed him. And like with Koulibaly, he's a brilliant defender, but is he the kind of defender that will suit this whole Tuchel style, which I'm still yet to see what it actually is?
Time will tell, won't it?
But I think the Lukaku transfer kind of confused me because, like we said, he's like you said, he plays in the 2. Or for me, I seems like an old school target man, like Mourinho used him as like a target man. Tuchel's style, from what I remember, even at PSG, we had, you know, on the floor kind of style. It was never suited a striker like Lukaku.
No.
So it was quite baffling. So I think now it's probably like even confused me even more because I'm like, what is he trying to do with that team?
Yeah, it would be interesting, right? Imagine if he came to Spurs. I wouldn't want him. I'm just saying him. Yeah, no. Lukaku. I'm just saying Lukaku, right?
Lukaku and Kane.
Yeah, imagine that.
I think he would work more for us than they would.
Well, it's a Conte system, isn't it? He plays fine in a Conte system. That's what I mean. I'm not saying to before anyone goes, oh, good shit. I don't want Lukaku, but I'm just saying, like, imagine.
I think honestly, I did because he's played under Conte. I just think it would have been good for us.
You know, Lukaku was the man, wasn't he? At one time, he was like everyone was banging on about him, and he's one of the best strikers ever. You know, it was just hype when he came to the Prem, and then it just completely nosedived. I mean, I'm glad because it was Chelsea, and it couldn't happen to a better team.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah. So
Lukaku's played for. He was on loan at West Brom, wasn't he? Whilst he was at Chelsea.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah.
He signed for Everton, remember, and they sold him.
Yeah.
So he's played in the Premier League in loads of different sides. But if you look back at the teams he was successful for, they played a system where they used the target man.
Yeah.
For me, Tuchel, maybe I'm going wrong now because they don't have a striker. Maybe it suits them more. I don't know. But they don't seem to play with in a sort of target man based.
No. Do you know what it seems to me? Do you know what it seems to me? It's like, you know how City played without a striker?
Yeah. They're trying to do that.
Chelsea was, I'm not saying they were emulating it, but it kind of seemed like that was the road they were going down at one point. You know, because obviously you had Havertz, Mount, they were all scoring goals and everyone was contributing. I mean, which is good because the team should be doing it. I get that. But what I'm trying to say, he was kind of like Pep, we're going to go without a striker. We're going to leave it. Well, I suppose City left it because they knew they were getting Haaland this year. So I think that's the reason why it's different. But Chelsea, I just didn't think they had any sort of identity. I don't think they do.
Yeah,
now.
that's the word I'm looking for. I just don't see what they're trying to do.
They don't know what they want.
Even with United under Ten Hag, I kind of know what they're trying to. I know they lost, but I know
they were shit today. I mean, they were.
It don't surprise me though, because I mean, he hasn't got De Jong. He's trying to get these other ex-players he used to have.
Yeah, but they had Eriksen there today. And although he had a good game, don't get me wrong, he had a few good passes, but he still couldn't do the business. Brighton, without Basuma, without Cucurella. Yeah. But they were brilliant. Brighton, I'm not even taking it away. Brighton were the better team. They outplayed them. They just dominated, pretty much most of the game. Also, I think
just Old Trafford and United is not fair anymore for teams.
No.
I hear you say something like Brighton turning them over like that. It says a lot.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They sort of Brighton held back a little bit. Not held back, but you could see the constant bombardment from United at the end. They were holding on. They were just holding on, and they done well. They were clearing the ball. It's brilliant, man. I was loving it. I was a bit skeptical. I didn't watching the game. I was thinking, without Bassoon and without Cucurella, I think Brighton are going to lose 2-0 to United. But as soon as they scored their first goal and made them look stupid, they opened them up, mate, like a tin of beans. I swear to God, they just opened them up, cut right through them. Have you seen it yet? Have you seen highlights?
No, I haven't seen it,
mate.
I just saw the score. I was like, because I was in the gym actually, and I
saw. Of course.
I just see the score, and I was like, it's 2-0 to Brighton. Like, what?
Yeah,
what's going on?
It's mad, mate. It's mad. And then obviously they brought Ronaldo and Van der Beek on, and they thought, oh yeah, Ronaldo's going to save us. Yeah, that's what it was like. That's what it was like to me. You panic. Let's bring Ronaldo and let's see if he gets a goal. That's what it was like. It was like, let's rely on him. But anyway, enough of that. It was a good game.
But I feel like with United, for me, under Ten Hag, it'll sort of be like year one Poch under us.
Right. Yeah.
Where it's a bit of a mess.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to clear out all these players and bring in some players that fit his philosophy of this passing Ajax style.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be like a 1-year job. We're talking to 2-3 years, I think, for me.
Yeah.
For them to be fixed. I say
definitely.
Fixed. Like, I would say like semi-competitive.
No, but it's funny because you've got the United. They're all harping on about Ten Hag system and this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be Ajax, but in England and all this.
Overnight, it doesn't work.
No. But they haven't got the players to do it. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's another thing. That's what I'm saying.
McTominay and Fred in the centre. You should have seen it. It was awful. Brighton's midfield. Honestly, I can't remember who was in it. Who was in midfield for them? But they ran the midfield. They made Tominey and Fred look stupid. It was funny, mate. I was in hysterics. I loved it. I was tweeting while I was doing it, just winding United fans up. Brilliant.
So before I end the stream, I'm just a quick prediction for the season finish. Where do you say?
Oh, for us, season finish.
Just a Premier League.
Premier League finish. Okay. If Chelsea implode, which I'm hoping they do, we could nick third.
You think? Okay.
And it all depends on us. If we win our next 5 or 6 games, well, 4 or 5 games, whatever. Put it this way: if we went out to Chelsea and we beat them convincingly, I'd be more convinced that we're going to get a higher place for it. I'm not saying second. I'm not saying that. But I'm talking we could maybe solidify sort of top 4 and comfortably, maybe. So even if we get 4th place, I think there will be a considerable difference, say, between United, Arsenal, and below.
Yeah.
I think we're going to finish with a higher point tally. So I think we're going to be convincingly in the top 4. So I'm going to say top 4. If Chelsea implode, it'll be third.
Okay, I have done third as well because until I see Chelsea.
Yeah.
Fix.
This is what I mean. We don't know what Chelsea are going to do. They haven't finished. The window's not closed. I'm just going on now. How things stand.
So I'd probably say third still. I think. But
okay, well that's cool.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to sort of take the piss and think, we're gonna. No, I'll wait till the end of the window really before I can go. Yeah, this is. But I'm going to say sort of third or fourth either way.
Okay, so it's been great having you on again, Lee. Before we do this again on Thursday, and come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.